Going for boost over. Well, I think going for boost if you're a boost merchant, like someone like AJ or someone, you go for boost.
100% of the time.
Yes.
Always, every second of every game. Ball's going in your net, don't worry about it. Go get the boost and make sure you've got the full 100 to celebrate with the other team.
Never. Yeah, never. Always go for ball. Yes. Number one rule of Rocket League.
Welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, where three aggressively average Rocket League players talk about everything RLCS with your hosts, Ace, Code Red Jack, Kyle Cube, and AJ Binky. So, if you've ever wondered when the best time to go for Boost Over Ball is, you've come to the right place.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, if this is your first episode or if you've listened to all of our episodes, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to us speak words at you. We can't thank you enough for all the support. I'm here today with Ace, Code Red Jack. How's it going, man?
I am tired. I am absolutely shocked I can even do this with you today. I don't think I should legally have a voice left.
Yeah, I kind of don't, and we're approaching. This concrete floor looks really comfy levels of tired right now. So with that, we'll jump right in. In today's episode, we will be giving you a quick recap of Championship Sunday from the Spring Major in Boston, giving you the results, our thoughts on the matches, an update on our predictions, which did okay-ish, maybe, kind of, not really.
Speak for yourself. I predicted nothing but the ending. And not even. I only predicted half of the ending. And not even. I only predicted one tiny portion of the ending.
Yeah, but we'll run through all of our thoughts and our recap. We got some thank yous to say towards the end of the episode, and we will also be updating you on our recording schedule for the next week and a half, and letting you know when episodes are coming out and some exciting things to look forward to in the future. But without further ado, we're going to jump into today's matches. We'll go over all the results first, and then we will give you our thoughts on each match and our thoughts as a whole. So, Ace, you want to start out with the lower bracket semifinals?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I'll start off with the small little bit that was the lower bracket. So, okay, we go into this. This is supposed to be the short day. And as we're sitting there, and, we're sitting there in the press booth, and we're chatting and everything, like, oh, gosh, thank gosh for a shorter day, because yesterday was long. Very long. Fun. Absolutely. This whole experience has been a blast. But today was supposed to be a short day. And then somebody said, well, it might go till 7 p.m. And I looked at my watch and said, no way. But then Rule 1 and Vitality happened.
Yes, they did happen.
Not only did it happen, it broke records. It broke multiple records. The first record I'd like to mention, after talking about how today was supposed to be a short day, is the longest overtime ever. I think we're looking at over 12 minutes now is the record to beat. Rule 1 and Vitality, I think it was their third overtime in a row, was 12 minutes. And it was
after an over 5-minute overtime the game before.
Yeah. Oh, so it was game 1, 2, 3. Bam, bam, bam. Overtime. Right? And that last overtime was like, Rule 1's like, no, you do not get this. We're going to take this and we're going to turn it around. Rule 1 is probably the most surprising team out of this entire weekend for me. Nobody expected them to come out swinging like they did, and they proved that MENA is currently better than NA, and there's not a single person, unless they're lying or they're MENA, that would have predicted that. Absolutely fantastic showing for them. I mean, we went over it last time, but I can't tell you. But anyway, so I digress. Vitality, Rule 1. We have 3 overtimes. One of them is a 12-minute overtime. Hit us with a couple of the other records from that 12-minute overtime.
Most shots in a single game, Vitality with 31. Most saves in a game by Rule 1 at 29, with Rawas having 12 of those himself.
How many saviors is that?
That's 4 savior medals.
How many saviors is that?
It's 4.
4 saviors.
And also another notable thing, Mr. Lead Shoes, in this game at least, Alpha was the only player of the 6 that did not score 1,000 points.
Oh man, how much lead do you have in your shoes to be like a pro going 12-minute overtime, so a 17-minute game, and you only get 750 points? Everybody else was over 1,000.
Rawas had like 1,300.
That was
Although they were giving him saves like they were giving out candy.
God, well, he was earning every one of those. All right, this wasn't like they were just doing some weird volley back and forth. This was Vitality was putting on some of the best shots I've seen all tournament, and Rule 1 said no. Absolutely not. No. You're not going to beat us. We're going to win. And my, did they have heart. In the end, didn't work out in their favor. Vitality does get the sweep, but even though on paper it is 4-0, even though on paper it is a sweep, to me, I would never, ever remember that as a sweep. There's no way.
Well,
They fought so hard.
They played like 4 extra games.
Yeah. Yeah. And remember this. So remember this part as we break down the rest of the day. This is how Vitality's day started. With 4 extra games of game, I think, in just one game.
With
right?
an 8-game sweep.
Yeah. They had an 8-game sweep in their first series, because every one of those counts double, right? At least. And then we go into our upper bracket final, right? And you got BDS and K-Corp. So let's just say Vitality is now taking a long-needed rest. They're taking showers probably. And BDS and K-Corp, they go to Game 7. And I'm sure Vitality is happy for every single beautiful second that they got to rest. Because BDS and K-Corp, that series was phenomenal.
It was a great series from end to end. You can't really ask for much more as a fan than Championship Sunday, Champions Field.
Yeah, we got multiple of those, because then K-Corp goes to the lower bracket against Vitality, and again, Champions Field. Champions Field, I'm pretty sure it was an overtime.
Overtime, Game 7, Champions Field for a spot in the grand finals. The stakes do not get higher.
Oh, and the way it broke down. Like, Vitality, I think, pulled 2 ahead, and then K-Corp came back 1, and then Vitality went up again, and K-Corp was on match point for the rest until we got Champions Field. It was absolutely just lots of screaming, lots of yelling, lots of watching the Blue Wall fans do all of... Their fans are absolutely something to behold. They got chants, they got dances, they got all kinds of fun stuff.
So I will also set the tone as Vitality takes it in Game 7 to make their spot in the grand finals. But setting the stage, up until this point, Vitality is the villain. People love to hate on Zen. People love to hate on Vitality. People don't like teams that win everything. So Rule 1, as Johnny Boy tweeted, MENA, Middle East, North America. Rule 1 is a crowd favorite. Everyone loves Sunless Khan. Moving into the lower bracket final, everybody, I think, a lot of people were Karmine Corp fans, the Blue Wall. People were getting behind the Blue Wall.
I feel like everybody was rooting for BDS when it was BDS K-Corp. Then it was K-Corp Vitality. Everybody's rooting for K-Corp. Not me. I was like totally on the Vitality bandwagon, right? And then they take, it felt like a 5-minute, at least 10, 15-minute break when they beat K-Corp. So they go to Game 7. So now Vitality has played 2 different series with a small break between that go the distance, right? Now we're looking at grand finals. And what do? All right, so hold on. I got to set the stage just a little bit, because this wasn't like they just came out and said this.
Farah,
at the end of the K-Corp Vitality series, took the mic and told the crowd, he said, hey, we're going to do a thing. We're going to need your assistance on this. Basically, you ain't got no NA left, but we'll be your stepdads. I'm pretty sure. I mean, he probably didn't say stepdad, but we know what he meant. And we're a bunch of kids looking for a dad. And we're like, okay, Vitality, you can be our stepdad. And they came out against BDS in the best fashion. They had little American flags. They were waving them. And suddenly, the entire crowd went from BDS to USA, USA. And, Kyle, tell them the rest.
I've never seen a harder 180 in terms of crowd support in such a short amount of time. I would say it probably was 90% BDS in terms of like crowd favor, into almost 98% probably Vitality support from one Antic. That's a phenomenal move from Farah, and an even better play for his team. We're coming off of 2 incredibly long best of 7 series, and I can't say enough good things about what Farah did. And he even tweeted after the event, "I'll use every trick in the book. Hell, I'll even write the book. I don't care about anyone's opinion on this. All that mattered was my team and getting us through it, no matter what. For the win at any cost, that's how much it means to me." In my opinion, there's no better take than Farah's on this one. He got it absolutely right. He did everything that he needed to do to motivate and re-energize his team heading into a grand final, where, by the way, they had to bracket reset to even get to have the opportunity to win the event.
So not only do they pull this bracket reset, they have the entire crowd behind them, now chanting USA. And not only that, they have the Rocket League esports Twitter on their side, sharing out that they've changed their Twitter handle. They changed their Twitter handle to Team Vitality, American flag cowboy hat, and I think a sun. It was the most incredible moment that I've witnessed in my short period of time watching this Rocket League stuff. God. We were screaming. We were yelling. We were hooting. We were hollering. And everybody immediately just wanted USA to win. But yeah, what an amazing moment. And absolutely, I'm going to do a quick little plug. Make sure you pay attention to our Twitter, you pay attention to our other socials, and you pay attention to when we drop that Vitality grand final interview. And we're going to make you wait for it. So don't expect it first, all right? You're going to have to wait for it because we had to wait for it. We've been here for days. You have to wait weeks.
Yeah, we got to interview all of the top 4 teams, and then we got to interview Vitality after the grand finals, and those interviews were fantastic. The players had some great answers. We're surrounded by great people. Adam Baguette with Shift RLE again was at this event, and what a professional, what an awesome guy. His questions are always fantastic. Shift is worth every follow you can give them. They really do a great job, and I'm excited to be able to share the content that we've got with you, whether it's the pictures that we took through with our media access, the Twitter banter that's happened, the videos and the interviews that we got are incredible, and we are excited to share those with you. But as Ace said, it will have to be a little bit before those come out, as we will be releasing them periodically throughout the lead up to the World Championships.
Yeah, and it really depends on when our intern editor, right, our unpaid worker editor guy, whenever he finishes the work.
Yeah, whenever the editing monkey finishes his work.
Yeah, get to work.
Yeah, jeez.
But also, just a little shout out for y'all. If you do see us at an event, we did our first fan interview, and I don't know how it turned out because it was quite noisy, but if we can scavenge it from the recesses of recording, you'll hear our first fan interview, and we're planning on doing that at events for moving forward. So be on the lookout for us. If you see us at a future event, you see us walking around, you see us grabbing a hot dog or whatever it is we're doing, tap us. Say you have something to say. We'd love to hear from you because we are you. We are just a couple of plats that have a podcast that barely know what we're doing. And so, yeah.
Rocket League's most okayest podcast.
We are the most okayest podcast.
Yeah, but with that, we will jump into the grand finals. The first series, Vitality taking 4-2. It seemed kind of close at times, but after those first 2 games, I really thought Vitality stepped it up and kind of made the series their own. Vitality or BDS tried to make it a little bit of a series there at the end, but Vitality are able to get that bracket reset, becoming the third team in RLCS land to do so.
One of those other two teams to have done it was Karmine Corp against Vitality.
No, I'm talking about in the LAN.
Oh, dang! You have much deeper stats than me.
So then we get into the bracket reset, and I mean, BDS took one game, but it was all Vitality. They had the full crowd support. Zen was firing on all cylinders. They looked incredible.
Mr. Lead Shoes himself decided to play at one point.
He got the series winner in
Yeah.
overtime.
The last two games, I feel like Mr. Lead Boots took his boots and gave them to somebody else because he was just peaking. He was absolutely peaking. They all were peaking. It was some of these shots are, I can't even describe them. It was amazing. Obviously, I can't describe them. I'm a plat. I can't. They did a musty double flip, triple reset, squishy.
I mean, there were a couple squishy saves. There were some flip reset, double touches. It's some fantastic Rocket League that you'll see on the highlight reels and the YouTube videos for weeks to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the end of it, like these teams, there was a lot of history made in this major. I would say I would say that this is one of the most historical lands we've had yet, because not only did we have a MENA team go far enough to earn an entire extra slot for their region in Worlds, which means Twisted Mind's going to be at Worlds. We have the first ever full, what do they call it, Grand Slam, I guess. They have to come up with a name for it. No one's ever done it. They won so Vitality won every major this split and the LAN, and that's never been done before.
Yeah, they won all three regionals in EU. They won the major at the end of the split. They've dominated the split.
Yeah, and
only rivaled by RLCS X BDS, but they also didn't have the major events because of COVID.
And they did that by making history within the games themselves, right? You have a 12-minute overtime with Rule 1, and then you have going to Game 7 with Karmine Corp, and then you have a 6-game run against BDS to reset the bracket, and then 5 more games after that. These guys, these athletes is the only word you can use for these people. They played 8+ hours of Rocket League. I do that with beer and not caring. I can't do that at the highest levels. I can't even sleep at the highest levels for 8 hours. All right.
Yeah, no, huge props to Farah, to Vitality, to their team, to all the players that played. I can't even begin to describe the experience that we've had this weekend, from meeting all the content creators that we did, for allowing us to get pictures of those of you that did. Those pictures turned out fantastic. You can see them on Twitter. We tagged some people. For the people that have that took stickers from us, that interacted with us on Twitter, that said hello, shout out to Jello Boy for being the first person to ask me for a selfie, one of Stax's students. Awesome guy. Thank you for doing that. It's truly an out of body experience for me, and it's indescribable to me how incredible this weekend has been, and like how all of the things that transpired did.
I mean, we've talked about this. We talked about this at length before we started recording this episode, how much this means to us, because we literally started this to hang out with our buddies and talk Rocket League every weekend. Just go over it. And now we're sitting here, we're interviewing these teams, we're shaking hands with Stackhouse. Karma came into the press booth and sat down, was just hanging out with us. She was there. She watched that Rule 1 12-minute overtime game with us. Do you have any idea how, that's a great word, out-of-body experience. That was just an absolutely just mind-blowing experience to be sitting there with one of the best female Rocket League players of all time and hearing her takes on how the game is going, seeing her reaction, it's absolutely incredible. This, like, a fans, just dream come true. So, and this is all because of you guys. This is all because of you, our listeners, and just look for us at future events. We're going to have more stickers. We're going to have more interactions. We're going to have interviews. We're going to do our best to keep growing, keep giving you guys the content you want. So hit us up. If you hear something you really like, if you hear something you don't like, let us know, because we want to give you guys the information that you want to hear from a perspective similar to yours, from a couple plats. What do you want to know?
Yeah, for sure. But also, with that being said, again, this will be the second of many, many, many thank yous that we give to Stephanie, to the entire Psionics PR team, to the event staff, the people working at the arena. You guys all made this event possible. You made an unforgettable experience, not only for us at the Boost Over Ball podcast, but for Shift, for MLE who was there, for all of the fans and players that were there. You know, I cannot say thank you enough times. And we hope to be able to work together in the future when more majors come back a little bit closer to home than Dusseldorf. But thank you so much from the bottom of our heart. Absolutely.
And I know he's not here today. He's actually in the middle. So this is how pumped we are to get you guys content. AJ is out recording more content right now for us, and he absolutely wants. He wanted us to forward on a thank you from him too. It means a lot to him as well. He'll be back in our future episodes for sure. And then maybe one day we'll be able to pay our editor.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll get paid.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, but with that, we'll talk about our upcoming schedule. So with all of the content that we've gotten out this week, and with travel for us, some of us back to the West Coast, some of us back to the Midwest, there will not be an episode for the rest of this week. However, our full event recap, our thoughts, our full analysis, and what does it mean, World's implications, and starting to talk about some roster rumors that we hear. That episode will go live July 19th. We will also come back that same week with another Bubble Blast episode with Atomic and Sasuke. That will get back to our regularly scheduled programming as well. But with that being said, we'd like to thank you so much for listening. Again, if this is your first episode, thank you for coming. If this is not your first episode, thank you for coming back. We'd like, as always, to remind you to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, join our Discord, rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts, as it really helps us out. All of our links and more can be found at www.boostoverball.com, with potentially some more links being added in the future. You'll hear about that as they come. But with that, from everyone's most okayest podcast hosts, thank you for listening. And remember, as always, to choose Boost over Ball.
Thank you for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website, www.boostoverball.com, and rate us wherever you listen to podcasts.